We are here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as we get set for the 6th Annual National Auto Sport Association Championships presented by Toyo Tires. 2 days live here on SpeedcastTV.com. A big weekend here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. National champions will be crowned. You're going to see it all here on SpeedcastTV.com. Well, our first national championship race is making their way onto the racetrack. Again, 45 minutes in distance. This would be known as Honda Challenge, HC1 and HC2. And here is your starting lineup for Honda Challenge 1. On the pole, we just heard Jeremy Scott talk about him, the number 5 from Charlotte, North Carolina, Kevin Helms. To the outside of row number 1, the 35 of Luke Willward. Inside of row number 2, starting third, the 727 of Jonathan Maris, another guy to watch. And, of course, to the outside, starting fourth, the 13 of John Schmidt. Row number 3, the 23 of Michael Fries, and the 420 of Peter Schwartz. Row number 4, the 75 of John Olt, and the 52 of Stephen Ike. And rounding out your field for HC1, the 6 of Andrew Lee will start ninth.
We get to Honda Challenge 2 in our Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. The pole sitter, as we said, Jeremy Crozet. Next position, Jeremy Lucas, local guy, Delaware, Ohio. Eric Olson up next. Chad Gilsinger in the next position, followed by Manny Coates. Colin, both a good shoe here, local guy. Angelo Dinkoff is up next. Eric Ross. Bradley Allen up next. Then Zephyr Belsky, followed by Richard Hunter. Ron Dotson. Fulton Haight, good friend of mine from Glendale, California. Sean Barwick. Andrew Locke. Stephanie Belsky, Zephyr's wife. Xavier Calderon. Next up, Edgar Villaroya. Next up, Jadidis Sadowskis, then Spencer Anderson, Jonathan Baker, the Casella brothers, Brian Casella, followed by Robert Casella, and rounding out our field is Brian Shanfield from Raymond, Ohio.
For more information on Honda Challenge, again, you can always go to NASAProRacing.com or HondaChallenge.com. Now, 5 classes within Honda Challenge, HC1 through HC5. Today, we feature HC1 and HC2. What's the biggest difference between those two?
Well, H1 and H2 both use similar chassis, you'll see, but there's a little more of the go-fast sauce in the H1 cars. They're allowed to do more to the motor. They can run a bit more tire, and they also can do a few more modifications. Most of the H2 cars are hybrids. We're not talking green hybrids that go real slow. We're talking hybrids where they've taken the original motor out and put in something a little more stout, usually something like you'll see a Civic with an Integra Type R motor, the good old B18 C5, and these are really fast little cars and very fun to drive.
So still under caution on the racetrack as we get set to go green. First national championship race of the day here, day number 2 of the NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires. Again, 45 minutes for each of the events here today. We'll also have the TT cars out for their final session, 15 minutes to try and lay down the fastest lap they can of the week.
Absolutely, and an interesting development in Honda Challenge here is that these guys were on the Toyo tires all year, and then there were some supply problems. So generously, Hoosier Tire, good local Indiana company, stepped up, and all these guys are on Hoosier tires for this weekend. And these guys, like the Spec Miatas, also have wonderful support from Honda. Call up Honda anytime, that HPD division, and get all the parts they need quickly, cheaply, and right away.
So you can see looking back down the front straightaway as the cars get set, they will head down into one of the fastest parts of this race course into turn 1, which takes them down into turn 2, also known as Keyhole. But like the Spec Miatas that we saw yesterday, this is one of the most popular divisions of NASA.
Absolutely. This is a real up-and-coming class. What you're going to see here is there's going to be one wave of the H1 cars taking off. Then the H2 cars will move up into position, and they will take off on the second wave. So our hope is that all these guys in their classes are racing together and never see each other on the track. But as we saw yesterday, eventually the faster cars will catch the back markers, and working that traffic will be a key part of the race today.
45-minute race, one of the longest races that these guys have throughout the year. How important is this start?
Very important, vitally important. If you bog the launch here, you're going to have a lot of time to make up. And if you launch it wrong, launch it too hard, you might break some parts. So it's really critical to be good at doing a standing start in this Honda Challenge class.
Green, 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 and we are racing. H1 Honda Challenge 1 cars on the hammer into turn 1. There is the GoPro speed shot. And they're racing hard now, trying to go 3 wide as they head down into keyhole turn at number 2. Again, Kevin Helms, Luke Wilwert, Jonathan Maris taking a peek.
3 wide. And that's Maris there with the orange on the front of his car, local boy from my neck of the woods in Elk Grove, California. And boy, he's on it. Here comes our H2 second wave flying start, and they are off and running with Crozet out front.
So H1 now making the way into China Beach. This is H2 coming into turn 2 at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course known as Keyhole. A good passing zone right there entering turn 2.
Looks like Eric Olson got a fantastic start as hanging with Crozet, but you can see how Jeremy managed to get a very nice launch there onto the front straight.
Back up front with H1 as they come down off of turn 5 known as Madness. Head into turn 6, turn 7, then a big right-hander heading towards Thunder Valley. The 727 there, that's Jonathan Maris running second, applying the pressure early.
Absolutely, and that's, I don't know if John realizes that we're at the start of a 45-minute contest. He may, he's already working the tires.
Testing
and,
the Hoosiers.
Getting a little bit loose there. You know, it's hard to build temperatures up in the first few laps, and I don't know, if I was John, I might be conserving my tires a little bit. Looks like we have somebody off there through Madness.
Oh yeah, heavy damage to the left front. Can't see a number on that car. Possibly the 87.
I think that may be Fulton Haight. I think he had a big impact there in Madness, and he's off kind of in an impact zone, so we're probably going to see a waving yellow at that turn. Looks like Maris got out in front of Kevin Helms, but Helms is not taking that lightly. Yeah,
Jonathan Maris now taking the lead heading into turn 2. Kevin Helms running in second. Kind of a 2-car breakaway. So you can really see when Maris got loose, he lost about 4 or 5 car lengths, got into carousel, obviously gained him back and took the lead on that front straightaway.
Absolutely, and John is putting the power down now. Now these guys are going to come into that yellow zone, so it's going to be really, really important that they play their strategy correctly. John moving to the inside to make sure there's no passing opportunity available. Looking on our monitor, we can't see the yellow out right now. Fulton Haight may have gotten back underway. There it is, standing yellow for Fulton Haight, so there's no passing in this zone until they get past where he is stalled out.
You can see him really on the edge as some smoke out of the 52. Stephen Ike, 2-time PTE national champion, performance touring champ.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good smoke going on. If I remember right, Rob, he had a bit of a crash yesterday in one of the performance touring groups.
So again, that is the blue 52 we're looking at, Stephen Ike. You can see really only when he makes a right-hand turn does he get the smoke, so there could be tire smoke.
I'm seeing it coming maybe from under the rear of the car. So that may be residual from that trip he took off in the keyhole, and it may just burn off. Hopefully we'll do what we call self-clearancing.
Well, right now Ike is running in the 5th spot. Again, right now the 727, Jonathan Maris having taken the lead over Kevin Helms with Luke Wilwert in 3rd, John Schmidt 4th. And again, Ike right now running at your top 5 in H1.
Absolutely, and they're going really, really fast compared to some of their other times. So again, we will be watching that breakaway in the H1 with Helms and Maris. And it looks like we have our H2 fellas coming in here, and they are running hard. That's Manny Coates there. Right after that, that was the number 7, Chad Gilsinger, in that S2000. Definitely running hard. There's Jeremy. He's starting to open up a bit of a lead and trying to get away from that pack of H2 guys that are going to be trying to catch him and reel him in. So he's going to try to get as much room as he can in case we have, as we saw yesterday, a full course yellow can bunch him up and take all that work and absolutely throw it out the window.
Jeremy Crozet out of Tehachapi, California in the 25. Currently 2nd in the Southern California region. Actually ran 15th last year at the Nationals at Miller Motorsports Park in Twella, Utah. So
we're seeing
jumped it up a bunch so far.
Right. We're seeing a little puff of smoke there. Looks like it's coming on the exhaust when he's letting off. Engine may be getting a little tired. He's been running hard all weekend. Won both qualifying races. So hopefully Jeremy's motor has enough in it to get through this 45-minute contest for the Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development.
You mentioned changing over from the Toyos to the Hoosiers. Is that a curveball for these teams and drivers?
Absolutely. They're very different tires in my experience with them. The Hoosier is a much more like a slick. It only has 2 small grooves in it. Still DOT approved, so you could run it on the street if you chose, but a much different tire, so it will require a different setup than the Toyo RA1 would.
The white number 126 car of Colin Botha from Lake Orion, Michigan.
And Colin is very, very fast here, and he is a CRX expert. So he is not one to take lightly. They're trying to chase down that front pack right now and probably take a couple other of these Honda Challenge 2 racers with them.
Yeah, Botha's currently running in the 10th spot as we go back up front for HC1.
Maris there had the 3-wheel motion. He's running so hard that he's picking up that inside wheel. That's usually caused when the front of the car rolls over a little bit and there's just not travel. Looks like we have somebody off going into Thunder Valley.
So again, this is the battle for the lead in Honda Challenge 1. Jonathan Maris out in front. Kevin Helms, who led early, right now runs in second in the 05 Honda Civic EK, current point leader in the Mid-Atlantic region of NASA Racing.
And believe it or not, both of those cars started out as innocent little Honda Civics, probably the base models, so they were nice and light. John's is a 4-door, Kevin's is a hatchback, and they have been turned into absolute new school hot rods with the parts that they have added to their machines there.
Through turn 1, now heading into turn number 2, the keyhole.
And they're coming up on lap traffic, so let's see how these 2 guys manage it. And wow, that's going to be a really, really significant place, but the key here is that Maris and Helms will have a lot more power than that H2 car they're coming up on, so they should be well clear by the time they hit in to that China Beach turn.
Yeah, that long back straightaway through turn 3 is known as the kink right there, and China Beach up next. You know, we talk about the elevation changes going downhill, uphill, not a lot of actual flat parts on this race course.
Very few. The only flat parts are probably on the back straight, but there's still an overall elevation change there, and this is a really, really challenging, fun, technical course. And looks like that would be my good friend Manny Coates, and he is challenging Colin Botha, and they are having a great battle there. Manny is very fast, as is Colin. Manny has a lot of experience out west and has done very well there, and you can see he's trying to work that draft and jink over to try and get a shot at peeking around Colin as they go into braking on China Beach.
Yeah, and Coates crossing over, took a peek to the inside, now takes a look to the outside and decides he will follow the 126 up in there, or will he? Nice run now up into madness.
Wow. Now Manny might not be able to make it stick because he's really driving that car on the edge of adhesion. That's our battle for third in Honda Challenge 2.
So Colin Botha there in the 126, the white car, followed by Manny Coates, who is on the hammer, trying to chase him down.
We have a red cross flag displayed there, which means there is a safety vehicle in that general neighborhood. They are probably getting ready to pull somebody in, that car that we saw off earlier in that Thunder Valley area. Now let's look at the last lap time when both Colin Botha and Manny Coates come across the line here, and let's see what their last lap time and how close these guys are. And it looks like they are right there. Colin's last lap, a 1:39.770. Manny 1:40.291.
Yeah, and Manny Coates right there losing a little bit as we go back up to the battle for the lead. Honda Challenge 1, it looks like Helms is going to get by Maris and retake it. So these guys pretty much tethered together as they have been nose to tail this entire race rather, and I don't think Maris likes running in the second spot, and he's doing all he can to try and get back by him.
Well, he's trying to get it where he can absolutely choose his lines and be out front. Last lap times for those two, 1:38.033 for Maris and 1:38.009 for Kevin Helms. So they are right there together. And you see Maris lifting and locking that inside rear wheel. Now that could be significant because that could leave a nice flat spot there, which would cause all kinds of balance problems. And if he's real unlucky, it might cord that tire and cause it to go down.
We heard Jeremy Scott talk about Jonathan Maris, how back in 2008 here at Mid-Ohio. He was the winner, and there he goes again, back in front of Kevin Helms into turn 1. A great passing zone, very fast into turn 1. Also going into keyhole, we see a lot of passing.
And Rob, I just took a look at the best lap times that these guys have turned, and Jonathan Maris actually has a faster ultimate time. Oh, I think Helms was using the chrome horn a little bit to let Jonathan Maris know that he was there. Little bumper music, as we like to call it. Little wave, hey, here I am, don't forget about me.
Well, Jonathan Maris in the 727, defending champion, or I guess reigning champion of HC2.
These guys are side by side.
Almost running out of room.
And there was
close,
a touch.
yeah.
That was definitely a touch.
Yeah, and Helms had to get on the binders there, and luckily that he did. You can see the right rear up in the air, almost coming to a stop on the 727 of Jonathan Maris. So he has a little bit of breathing room, but I use that term loosely because Helms ran it down once. He can do it again.
They are coming into a lot of the Honda Challenge 2 lap traffic, so there's going to be a big factor in setting picks like we saw yesterday. We saw that our good friend Anders Schablom used that really to his advantage in that CMC2 race, and it made the difference for him. Let's see if Jonathan Maris can do the same and maybe get a little room from Kevin Helms.
Through carousel to the front straightaway as they cross the stripe. About 11 minutes into this 45-minute race.
You just got a shot of Xavier Calderon there coming down into the keyhole. Now look at where these H1 cars are going to catch those H2 cars. Not quite where we think. And it could have been significant if they were right on them in the keyhole, but they should be able to power by them. But if they don't get a good enough run because they're fighting together, those three H2 cars might be right in the mix in the braking zone as Helms and Maris try to get around.
Yeah, the next real opportunity is going to be right here heading into China Beach, and you can see Maris doing all he can to get by those H2 cars. And it looks like he will successfully get by 2 of them, as well as Kevin Helms, the 515, Stephanie Belsky out of New Jersey, now right in front of Maris, and Maris will peek to the inside of Belsky and make that work.
There's another shot of Jeremy Crozet still out in front of our Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development.
Yeah, you can see Jeremy's kind of all by himself out there on cruise control through the kink, heading down into turn of number 4.
Well, Jeremy's a hard driver, so I would never say he's on cruise control because he is on it, on it, on it.
Well, he knows when you're a driver, you're out on this race course, whether you have a big lead, you're talking to your crew over the radio, you know how fast these guys are behind you, and he's going to do all he can to keep them behind you. So we're going to take a break. We are about 13 minutes into our first national championship race here at Mid-Ohio. Stay with us. More to come when we come back.
This portion of the National Auto Sport Association National Championships presented by Toyo Tires is brought to you by Hoosier Racing Tire, tires designed for champions. And by GoPro. Be a hero, GoPro.
There's a reason why. In 6 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
State your desires.
Speed, adrenaline, competition.
Calculating. Result in 3, 2, 1. National Auto Sport Association. Start here.
Welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the 6th annual NASA National Championships presented by Toyo Tires. A great battle up front right now as they exit turn 2, known as Keyhole. Jonathan Maris trying to get back in front of Kevin Helms here in Honda Challenge 1.
And these guys have opened up about a 3-second gap to John Schmidt in the 3rd position. Here they come. This is going to be significant. Are they going to goalpost this H2 car as they come up? How are they going to handle this? If John can get by, oh, he can't. So this is going to be significant because there's not a lot of passing zones as they come through Madness there.
Yeah, going through Madness side by side is pretty crazy as we go up to the 126. That is Colin Botha.
It looks like we may have lost Jeremy Crozet somewhere on the course because he's off our timing and scoring. So we have a new leader in H2, Eric Olson. But look, here come Manny Coates and Colin Botha. These guys are right together. They are fighting it out, no gap at all. So we have a new leader in the Honda Challenge 2, Eric Olson.
Yeah, that is your top 3 right there. 1, 2, 3 as Olson is out in front in that 10 car out of Pennsylvania, regular with the Northeast region. Ran 9th last year at Miller Motorsports Park. Actually ran 3rd here at Ohio back in 2008 in the National Championships, and right now finds himself out front.
Oh, and there's Jeremy Crozet coming in on the hook. What a heartbreak. Last year at Miller, same thing. He managed to shear a stub axle at Miller Motorsports Park. I bet he blew the motor. We were seeing that puff on those downshifts. Looks like he is out of contention. What a heartbreaker for a real hard competitor and just a wonderful guy.
So a tough break for Crozet as these guys going at it. Now the 72, Manny Coates taking a look to the inside to take the lead from Eric Olson heading into Thunder Valley.
Look at these 3 guys. You can cover them all with a tarp. Unbelievable. Manny Coates now out front. Got by Eric Olson. Colin Both is right there. This is going to be a great battle for our H2 class going forward.
So Manny Coates now back out in front, or in front for the first time, I should say, as we go to the Honda Challenge 1 class, and these guys are still going at it. Kevin Helms right now in front in the 05. That's the blue and yellow car, and right behind him, the hard charging, always on the hammer, Jonathan Maris out of California, the 727 Honda Civic.
I tell you, as the late Howard Cosell would say, this is a true battle of champions, mano a mano. Look at that, going into where we saw Carter Hunt have a heartbreak yesterday up over in that Thunder Valley area, unloading the car. These guys are absolutely just battling for the lead in that Honda Challenge 1 presented by Honda Performance Development. Number 91 just went by with a big cave in his door out our window. So more developments out there, I'm sure, with a little bit of crash damage. There's our H2 field. Manny Coates opening up a little bit of a gap on the next 2 as they are battling and possibly not getting their fastest times. And Manny's got a little breathing room. He's going to try to stretch that out as long as he can.
Yeah, Manny Coates obviously pulling away from the 10 of Eric Olson, and then the Botha in the 126, and Botha on the gas there. And that's a pretty crazy turn there, heading down into Thunder Valley off camber. You come up over the hill, that rear end gets really light, especially yesterday when it was raining. We saw a lot of action right there.
Absolutely, and you're seeing the difference between the chassis here. The Civic and the CRX are very different cars there. Wheelbase is much different, much more maneuverable. Really takes a different driving style with those 2, different setup. And Manny Coates is making that work for him.
Yeah, back up front in H1, Honda Challenge 1. 3rd in line right there, that is your H1 leader, Kevin Helms, the blue and yellow car. And wow, Jonathan Maris on his back bumper, almost pushing him down Madness underneath the Honda sign, of course, heading down into Thunder Valley. And wow.
Wow, these guys are racing hard, looking for any millimeter of pavement. Wow, what are they going to do? Are they going to goalpost that next car? There's that mirror flag. Hey, buddy, you got something coming. You better be heads up.
Yeah, if you're in HC2 and you look in your rearview mirror, you see these guys coming at you. It looks like one car coming at you because they have been nose to tail this entire race, swapping the lead back and forth. And here they come through Carousel, headed towards us, John, here on the start-finish line. And Maris taking a peek to the inside, headed down into turn 1.
Now, he's made that work a couple of times, but look, there's an H2 car. Let's see what the GoPro speed camera shows us. Wow, they are flying through there under that Goodyear bridge. And Maris was not able to make it work this time. You see the H2 driver frantically signaling. hand out the window. Go on by, guys. Get out of here so I can resume my race and I don't mess up yours.
So Helms there, still out front. Jonathan Maris running in second in H1. The last time they went by the start-finish line, only 1/10th actually. But of course, when they got in turn 1, they stretched it out a little bit. And look at this, as they head through the kink and turn at number 3, Maris is right back on his bumper.
And these engines are absolutely screaming right now. These are high horsepower, high revving engines in their VTEC, which is very popular. And they are absolutely getting the most out of those cars. And I think these two little Civics will be pretty tired after they get into the victory lane here.
You can really see that four-door Civic of Maris. He is just wheeling that thing. The right rear comes up on a right-hand turn. The left rear comes up on a left-hand turn. And he is abusing those Hoosier tires.
Absolutely. And you saw a little bit of a wiggle there. John may have gotten a little loose as he came in there. And different lines between these two guys. John is taking a tighter line coming in there. Kevin a little bit wider. But it seems to work equally well for both of them because you still can't see a lot of daylight between those two Honda Civics.
Through turns 10 and 11, then into carousel they go, and you can see right there that, as I said, that right rear almost comes to a stop. It's in the air so long through the corners.
Both of these guys are having the, I guess you'd call it the three-wheel motion as they're coming through all these different turns, really pushing those cars as hard as they can. And that's a shot up over Madness, very popular area to watch. Looks like that might be Manny Coates, our H2 leader still. Looks like Colin Botha has secured that next position, so two CRXs out in front of the Honda Challenge 2 field.
Right now it's Eric Olson in third, Egidus Saduskas in fourth. Eric Ross rounds out your top 5 for H2.
And there's not much of a difference. Well, there is. There's actually a 15-second gap in H2 between P1 through 3 and P4. So these guys have a good breakaway going. But again, that could be affected big time if we get a full course yellow. And that will close that gap back up, and it will be on like Donkey Kong once again.
Eric Olson there in the 10 out of the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, in his red Honda Civic. Currently running in the third spot. Into turn 1. One of the fastest parts here at Mid-Ohio.
Looks like Manny Coates is coming up on lap traffic, and there's our two Honda Challenge 1 leaders. They are still just side by side, folding their mirrors back and forth. These guys are absolutely equals coming into the end stage of this. Looks like we are at about 22 minutes in, so we will have probably about another 15 minutes or so of green flag time remaining. And Helms and Maris don't seem to be going any slower or letting up at all. They have been absolutely at each other's throats this whole race.
Well, Maris made it work there and got back by Helms as they crossed the stripe, about 0.4 of a second now at the stripe, meanwhile, as they enter turn 1, and Helms closes that gap. Now into turn number 2, another big passing area to set themselves up for the back straightaway through the kink into turn 4, which is known as China Beach. And Helms now taking a look to the outside, maybe trying to diamond this corner and get a run back to retake the lead on Maris.
Absolutely, and these cars should have about the same power to weight ratio, maybe a little bit different aerodynamic profile with that hatchback body or that four-door body. It looks like neither of them is getting a good run on each other, and they are just sticking right close. But then again, Helms is using the graph there to close up on Maris and maybe get a little bit of a better run going up through Madness and get by John Maris.
Well, it's hard to pick a spot where one driver is better than another driver, because it looked like a few laps ago the Maris was a little bit better through Madness right there coming down the hill, but right there Kevin Helms really closed up on him. So I mean, these guys are pretty equal as far as lap times. Setups are both very good, and they're doing a great job driving.
Absolutely, and John seems to be a lot better on the back section of the course there when we get through Thunder Valley, Carousel, and he's always had a good run, it appears, when we come back onto the front straight. But Kevin Helms is absolutely owning him through the Madness complex and is right there every time after they do that braking on China Beach. And it looked like Helms came up to challenge there just before we cut away.
We go back from the lead of HC1 to the battle for fourth in HC2, Honda Challenge 2. That is Egidus Saduskas in the 70 car, the white car. Eric Ross behind him in the 64. And Richard Hunter currently 6th in the 91. That is the 3-car battle developing for the 4th position, or I should say 2-car battle developing there, as it looks like Richard Hunter in the 91 falling back just a little bit.
here they come into the braking area. Again, a prime passing zone. This is neat because you can see a very new generation Honda. I guess that's a 7th or 8th gen Civic. And that is a much older, I think they call that the EG chassis. Oh, it looks like, wow, that was a big lurid slide there for Eric Ross. And all of a sudden gave Sadauskas a little bit of room to breathe. Just pushed it a little bit too hard. Oh, and there's Eric Olson off doing a little landscape maintenance for us.
Well, you know, we're about a little bit past halfway in this race, and maybe these guys have kind of worn their stuff out and pushing it a little bit too hard. And the 10.
That cost Olson big time because he was right there with Botha and Coates, and now he's about 6 seconds back from those two, and he's going to have some work to try and reel them back in. Here's Coates coming around some lap traffic. Get that lap car in between him and Botha. That may be very significant as we come into the braking zone after our long back straight.
Manny Coates, we mentioned, out of California, 3rd in Southern California regional points. Had a disappointing 17th place finish last year at Miller Motorsports Park. We're really trying to turn that around, and so far so good. He is checking out, so to speak, and kind of carving up the lap traffic like a Thanksgiving turkey as he heads down into turn 4 China Beach up towards Madness.
And you see he has that lap traffic in a very difficult zone to pass for Colin Botha, so that may give him even a bigger advantage and more breathing room for him as we get into the final stage of this race. Looks like we probably have about maybe 9 to 10 minutes of green flag time left in this Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development Race.
Again, if you're just joining us live on SpeedcastTV.com, our first national championship event of the day, Honda Challenge 1 and 2. We'll hear us say HC1, HC2 as we go back to the leader, Jonathan Maris in HC1. That's the 727, followed closely by Kevin Helms in that 05.
And Helms may be clever. Oh, no way. See there, he owns that Madness corner. He's going to try and come around Jonathan, but Jonathan always seems to be able to leg it out as they go over that entry into Thunder Valley, that off-camber turn. To go through kind of the big winding complex here. Let's see if Jonathan can pull out a little advantage. No way, here comes Helms, and he is right on it, but he's going a little wider through that turn, and that may cost him as he's having to cover a little more distance than Maris, choosing that different line.
Yeah, it really looks like Helms is using up a lot more track to try and get by Jonathan Maris, really trying to chop these turns and go real wide to get a big run just like that. He loses a little bit if he can't get underneath him. But then, of course, we'll just try again at the next turn as they head down the front straightaway and cross the stripe.
Looks like they have a little bit of clear real estate in front of them. That may give Maris a bit of an advantage, but boy, Helms is right there. And Jonathan was usually getting a little bit of daylight there, but now Kevin may have figured out what he's doing there, and these guys are right there. Kevin may try inside here.
Yeah, we haven't seen that here today. He's been looking to the outside entering turn 2 here. Took a peek to the inside, maybe trying to throw Maris off his game, and it didn't work.
And it is hard to be out in front of a race lead like that, and you don't know whether to look in front or behind or defend or attack or whatever. So it is very hard to be in the first position. I was always better when I was the pursuer and not the pursuee.
Well, each one of these guys, when they get out front, have to be thinking, as Helms takes a look to the inside now. It was the outside, now the inside to Madness, and he'll make it work. Wow.
That was some really heads-up driving by Jonathan Maris, because if he would have made that little jink right there, he would have been into the back of Helms, maybe turned him around, and really not had a good situation. A lot of respect, obviously, with these two guys, but Maris takes him again.
Each one of these drivers have to be thinking, what do I have to do to stay out front? Maris then Helms, Helms then Maris, and now Maris gets back underneath him, coming off that off-camber turn, headed into Thunder Valley, and they'll go at it again.
They are having an absolutely amazing race. These guys are showing a lot of respect for each other, not a lot of bumping and grinding, and really working through traffic together and having a wonderful race and finishing hopefully very strong and giving us another show as we come into some of the final minutes of our Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development National Championship race.
And Maris opened up about 8/10 as they cross the start-finish line, but a couple cars in front of him that he will bob and weave through to head down into Keyhole here.
Look at that. They just went through right together. All the H2 competitors gave them a lot of breathing room, and they just worked right through that traffic, no problems. No pick possible. Maris is really wanting to get a pick there, but he wasn't able to.
So again, Jonathan Maris out in front, Kevin Helms second, John Schmidt, Luke Wilwert, Stephen Ike. That is your top 5 in Honda Challenge 1.
Looks like that might be number 35.
That's Luke Wilwert there, the 35.
So that's number 13, the Prelude there, and the 35, the Acura TSX. That's our battle for 3rd and 4th, and they are about 2 to 3 seconds behind our 2 leaders, and they are way out in front of the next position. And again, you can see the difference in chassis here. That's an older Prelude chassis and a fairly new Acura chassis, and they are hanging right there together. So the rules are working. Whoa, and now look at that. They've caught up 1, 2, 3, 4 in Honda Challenge 1. This is going to be an exciting finish to our Honda Challenge 1 National Championship race.
So Jonathan Maris and Kevin Helms of swapping the lead almost every corner, it looks like. May have wore their tires out a little bit when you have John Schmidt in the 13 and Wilwert maybe kind of working together to try and run these guys down in the closing stages of this race as they head back into turn number 1. There they are, the top 4 here in Honda Challenge 1.
And the difference between those cars went from 2 seconds last lap, almost 3 seconds, and now they're just a second apart. I think we're going to have a great finish with a 1, 2, 3, 4 battle for the lead instead of just that breakaway 1, 2 of Helms and Maris that we've seen all race.
John Schmidt right there in the 13, currently running in the 3rd spot. Out of Ohio, a local driver. Finished 6th in Mid-Ohio in the National Championships a few years ago. Again, it's been 2 years since the National Championships have been here at Mid-Ohio. And a great battle as they head down into turn 4.
Wow, Schmidt took a look on the inside of Helms there. And Rob, I think you're right. I think Maris and Schmidt may have used up a bit of their tires there. And these 2 guys that were hanging back a little bit, here they come. And it is going to be a great finish here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to call it because I don't know exactly who's going to come out in front. Maris has been running strong, but look at these guys going at it. Schmidt is just absolutely on it, leading up to the 1-2 there, bringing some heat.
John Schmidt, again, out of the Buckeye State Honda Prelude there, the number 13. The white car currently runs 3rd is Jonathan Maris, the 727, the orange and blue car, beginning to pull away, put a little distance between himself and 2nd place Kevin Helms. Again, this is the battle for H1, Honda Challenge 1.
And Rob, I just took a look at the last lap times before they're coming across the stripe here. And the P3 and P4 of Schmidt and Wilwert were actually darn near half a second faster than Maris and Helms. So there's definitely something going on there with the tires and with perhaps, I mean, Helms and Maris, they could just be tired. They've been going at it all race long.
So again, this is your top 4 for Honda Challenge 1 heading into turn 2, known as Keyhole. Then down the long back straightaway, we got a glimpse of, I believe, some of the H2 cars not too far ahead of these guys, so it could get a little crazy here on this lap as they go through the kink, head back into China Beach. There they are, a couple slower cars in front of them, so it could get a little tricky here.
I think it's going to get very interesting going up over Madness, and Thunder Valley is going to be a very crowded place as they catch up with that lap traffic. And so if I was a betting man, I would say we're coming up on our white flag lap next time these guys go across the stripe.
So it's Jonathan Maris out front, Kevin Helms 2nd, John Schmidt 3rd, Luke Wilwert 4th. That is your top 4 for Honda Challenge 1. Right now, Stephen Ike runs in 5th, not in contention, at least at this point, as there they are, your top 4. And Schmidt, again, taking a little peek to the inside of Kevin Helms. That would be for 2nd. But right now, Jonathan Maris, John, is still holding on. He's got a couple car links on the rest of these guys.
There's the check your mirrors, buddy. There's the flag. And if Maris can get one of those lap cars in between him and this next 3 positions, he may be able to really get some distance there. We're getting a report now from some of our cameramen out there that they're thinking that what they're seeing is Helms is slipping and sliding a whole lot. There's our white flag lap this time by. White flag lap. Here it is for all the beans, kids. Last lap.
Into turn 1. Yep, into turn 1 they go. Jonathan Maris out front. Kevin Helms 2nd. Can he hold on? And he's got a little bit of a gap between him and John Schmidt, who is really trying to hold off Luke Wilwert. So,
and I tell you, Wilwert's doing some psychological things with those headlights. He's lighting up the back of Schmidt's mirrors and saying, hey, buddy, here I am. I'm ready to go on around and try to get P3 from you.
So again, that is the battle for Honda Challenge 1, the final lap as they head down the back straightaway through the kink there, turn 3 into turn 4, then up to Madness, turn 5. And you're right, if Maris can get some lap traffic in between him, he'll be good to go.
Oh, that was huge. That was huge.
Oh, Wilwert.
Oh.
Wilwert into China Beach.
Oh, and
welcome, my friend.
Buried it. Oh,
I don't know if
no.
he lost his brakes or something broke, but
you know, I bet he had boiled his brakes, went for that pedal, and was probably finding nothing there. Knocked on the door, nobody home, straight into the tires in China Beach.
So that should move Stephen Ike into 4th as Wilwert takes the scenic route, grabs the cooler, throws up the umbrella, and hangs out at China Beach as now they head through Thunder Valley. Jonathan Maris still out front. He's got a decent cushion between him and Kevin Helms, who has been really working that car. And now they head to Carousel for the final time, John.
I tell you what a great race. Jonathan Maris looks like he's going to take it. Congratulations, Jonathan. 916 area code in the house today. Jonathan Maris taking the Honda Challenge win. Kevin Helms right behind him. John Schmidt. Luke Wilwert is still showing on our timing computer, but we're just waiting for Stephen Ike to come around because we know that Luke is stuck there in China Beach, and he apparently has climbed out. He's okay. That's the best news we've had in a while.
So what a race. It came down. We thought it was going to be the battle between Maris and Helms. It ended up being a 4-car battle for Wilwert. There is Stephen Ike as he comes to the start-finish line, and Ike will move into 4th. So a good finish for the 52.
And we'll probably have Michael Fries taking that 5th spot. Hey, and one of the Casella boys will take 6th. Then Peter Schwartz and another one of the Casella brothers. Boy, they're having a great day. Dad must have to buy them dinner tonight. They did a great job here.
So a crazy race, a great battle up front. There he is once again. Jonathan Maris taking the win in Honda Challenge 1. And we failed to mention Honda Challenge 2 because Manny Coates got out front and kind of checked out from the rest of the field.
Well, we're waiting for Manny right now to come by and take that. There he is. Manny Coates just took the win. H2, Colin Botha right there. Only 3 seconds behind. We're waiting for Eric Olson to come around to take our 3rd position, round out our podium. Looks like that was a pretty significant gap. Here we go. Eric Olson there rounds out our Honda Challenge 2 podium.
And Olson, look at that. Something dragging there on the left front.
Oh, yeah. You know, that was probably when he did that little bit of off-roading. He had something fall down there, maybe lost a little bit of front stick, and that gave him, he had quite a gap. He fell back to 23 seconds behind Coates and Botha there towards the end. So again, what a wonderful race. Our Honda Challenge presented by Honda Performance Development. Support from Hoosier Tires for these guys today. Really wonderful race. Great clean racing. Not a lot of contact. Great respect for Jonathan Maris and Kevin Helms. Wonderful race for those two guys. A little bit of a heartbreaker there for Luke Wilwert. So we've got the Gale over there. That's what that machine is called. Going to lift out that Acura. Poor thing gave all it had and now is sitting in the beach. And here we go. Oh, he just lost his brakes.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta guess that he did cook him. Got that brake fluid boiling, and then went to hit the brake, entering turn 4, and that pedal went to the floor, and there was really nothing he could do there. And the nice sands of China Beach slowed him down a little bit, but not enough.
Well, and that was a real heads-up play because Luke Wilwert decided to. You saw the nose of that car. Instead of trying to make that turn, maybe impact another competitor, he also played it straight because we see a lot of cars, if they go into that China Beach area, they go right over. They roll over, sand digs in. You can see it's pretty deep. So that was a great heads-up play where he knew he was in trouble, and he took the route and just skipped right over the sand and right into that nice tire barrier.
So our first national championship race is in the books. Here is your unofficial results for Honda Challenge 1 as Jonathan Maris puts on a show with Kevin Helms. As Maris gets the win, John Schmidt, Stephen Ike will finish 4th. Michael Fries will finish 5th. Luke Wilwert will end up in the 6th spot. Brian Casella there in 7th. Peter Schwartz and Robert Casella as we now take a look at Honda Challenge 2.
Honda Challenge 2, my good friend Manny Coates, a wonderful arm wrestler, by the way. He takes the win, followed by Colin Botha. Next up, Eric Olson. Then Judis Sadakas is in the 4th position there. Eric Ross up next. 6th belongs to Richard Hunter. 7 Zephyr Belsky. 8, Andrew Locke. 9th position is Edgar Villarroya. And number 10, Xavier Calderon. There's your top 10 for the Honda Challenge 2, presented by Honda Performance Development.
What a great day to kick off the final day of the Nationals here at Mid-Ohio. I'll tell you what, there is, I believe,
That's
Luke
Luke
Wilwert. We got the word that he got out. Looks okay, so good news down there. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll try and talk to the winners of Honda Challenge 1 and 2. Thanks so much for watching here at Mid-Ohio. We'll be right back here on SpeedcastTV.com.
This portion of the National Auto Sport Association National Championships presented by Toyo Tires is brought to you by Hoosier Racing Tire, tires designed for champions, and by GoPro. Be a hero, GoPro.
There's a reason why. In 6 years of powering every car in the Indianapolis 500 race, not a single Honda engine has failed. It's not the parts we make them from. It's the part we put in to every Honda.
State your desires.
Speed, adrenaline, competition.
Calculating. Result in 3, 2, 1. The National Auto Sport Association. Start here.
Honda Challenge in the books, HC1 and HC2. Jonathan Maris picked up the win in HC1, and our own Jeremy Scott's down with him.
That's right, and it was a great win. And Jonathan, we talked earlier in the morning about, what it's going to take to beat Helms, and you sure did it. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. First, I'd like to say Kevin Helms drove a great race, a clean race, one of the cleanest races I ever raced, and he did a great job. Hats off to him and his crew of the Honda Works. Yeah, I mentioned to you that consistency will have to pay off. He has a little bit more top end than me, but getting through the turns, I thought I was a little faster. And so just making sure I put my nose in the grindstone and kept consistent in the turns. Got kind of dicey. Brakes were starting to hit a little bit, and the tires were there. The Hoosier tires kept me there the whole time. The speeds I was going through the turns I have never seen in this car, but the Hoosier tires kept me planted.
Let's talk about that start that you had. You're starting from the second row. What was that like getting that rocket start?
Oh, you know what? This engine is a new platform for us. It's a K series, and the start's a little different from what I'm used to. So I was just kind of feathering throttle, making sure I stayed behind Helms and just freight train our way through the front. And luckily enough, I had just enough gas input and the clutch feathering, and we did okay.
Who do you? Let's talk about who you have to thank. 'Cause there's a lot of people who got you here.
Honda Performance Development. None of the Honda Challenge racers would be here if not for them. They help us. They totally helped the grassroots effort and supported us for all of us to get here, and helping us with the parts we need, the Honda OEM parts we need to get the cars going. I'd also like to thank Skunk 2. They've helped me a lot with their knowledge and building engines. RLZ Engineering with his awesome head work. I got a lot of people to thank. Midnight Performance, the late night 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. dyno tuning sessions. Like I said, it's a new engine platform, so a lot of work has been put into getting this stuff developed. And my crew and family, Rick Cruz, Ant and Samonte, Miggs. A couple guys couldn't make it. My dad, Nuts, Zach Vieira. He's back there. Hopefully he's watching. These guys, they're behind the scenes, but without these guys, they could not. I can't make it happen. I can't. There's not enough thanks I can give these guys. SPC Performance helped me a lot. OS Geekin LSDs, Roto Wheels. Everyone helped put me on that podium, on top of the podium, and I want to thank them. Thank everyone. RCF Engineering.
We gotta go. We gotta go real quick. We're gonna have our Honda Challenge 2 winner, but Jonathan, congratulations. Rob, we're gonna have our Honda Challenge 2 winner here shortly, so stick around for that.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jeremy Scott, and a very excited Jonathan Maris down there, and rightfully so.
And that's great to see. I know Jonathan pretty well. I do the annuals on his car every year. I drive down the 99 and do an inspection on that little car every year, and boy, he really put in some effort to get here. Towed all the way out. I think he drove himself all the way from Sacramento, California, down the 80 to get here. Not a short tow. Very dedicated racer, and so happy to see such a clean race. Again, so much respect between Kevin Helms and Jonathan Maris, and that really, really rewarded us with a fantastic race today.
Well, with that, we'll go down back to a victory lane. Our winner in HC2 is Manny Coates, and our own Jeremy Scott's with him.
That's right, Manny Coates, a very competitive Honda Challenge 2 field. You won, you were out front. How crazy was it out there?
It was a little crazy. The guys were driving really, really hard. The start was a little slippery on the new tires. The Hoosiers were awesome after the first lap. Jeremy Crozet and Eric Olson pulled out real quick, and it was just trying to work my way past the cars that were in front of me, and it took a little while, and eventually I got up there.
And you did. You're now the national champion for Honda Challenge 2. Who do you want to thank to get you up here?
Oh, well, first and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Carolina. Without her, I wouldn't be racing. She's just awesome. She makes sure that everything's ready and that I'm pumped up and ready to go. Jeremy Crozet and Felix, they're the guys that make sure the car's set up. It was a perfect car today, and without them, none of this would have happened. And of course, all of our sponsors, Hoosier, Samson, he came over and fixed our radios. I mean, everybody's just been awesome. NASA, of course, the track facility has been just fantastic.
All right, congratulations. Guy, got the fan club over here, and now we're about ready to get ready for the victory ceremonies. Rob, I'll send it back to you.